In this pearl of wisdom during our COVID-19 quarantine, through a state-sponsored 24-hour lockdown which became necessary on account of the novel coronavirus, which caught so many of us by surprise, I think it necessary to apprise our people of the change that will follow as we seek to bring some form of normalcy to our lives hereafter. I want to stick to what I do for a living, which I love and takes no skin off me to share as the writing is boldly encrypted on the wall for all who have eyes to see to see. It was Voltaire who said, "There is none so blind as he who would not see." And I pray and trust that all of us who are making collective sacrifices to weather this pandemic with the hope of surviving it and being able to proceed with our lives to continue to make our contribution to society, whether through banking, teaching, medicine, nursing, clerical and blue-collar functions, and throughout the various service sectors, chief among which are tourism and hospitality, just to name a few. Of course, we cannot omit our law enforcement officers and legal officials, to include the judiciary. Folks, the current state of affairs in Grenada should be considered a time for renewal, a time for introspection, where we must evaluate our priorities and line them up in order so that we have a concept of where we go from here. Our health and well-being is most importantly under the spotlight as we speak. And so, we must take care of ourselves. Social media has been abound with several offerings on how to build our immune system in order to stave off the virus, and in the event we contract it, be able to beat it with the strength produced by a great diet. Needless to say, the internet too has been overflowing with conspiracy theories, most if not all of which have been salacious, driving fear in many, and thus increasing the stress levels of so many, helping to deplete our immune system and making us susceptible to the same virus. Having touched on those two areas, though cursorily, and put them to rest, I really want for us to claim the blessing of traversing the tempestuous times successfully and returning to work. First and foremost, we have to realize that the change I alluded to earlier will kick in, as some businesses will not be able to continue from where they left off and would either be downsizing or discontinuing altogether. The truth is, a lot of business models will have to change. COVID-19 has introduced many businesses to online functions from home. We are about to enter a new era in the working man's life. COVID-19 has presented lots of opportunities only the willing will be able to take advantage of. In several of my motivational training sessions within the region and the US, and to a limited extent here locally, when I would ask participants which is more important to them, family or work, the majority would choose family. There would always be an out-of-the-box thinker that would offer a reasoned response by saying, "No, both. Because I work to take care of my family." And that is the attitude one needs to apply when asked a question of this nature. We have to engage our gray matter and give it work so that we can get out of life a lot more than we expose ourselves to. In the period before COVID-19, many of us prioritized having a darn good time. We must be in attendance at the latest all-inclusive fete. Every trip the rum runner makes cannot be without us. We focus on the mundane, and when we turn up for work, we are tired and not inclined to deliver a fair day's labor for that fair day's wage. When we are called upon to do something which we deem out of our job description, we are quick to say, "That is not my work. I ain't come here for that," and such like, forgetting that if you have a job description, the last clause on your job description includes just what you were asked to do, because it says, "and any other duty you are called upon to perform from time to time." Then again, there are others who are just plain clock watchers, who must view their watches or phones, or if there's a central clock at the workstation, they must watch it at least 10 or more times per hour. In fact, such people come to work at 8 and are ready to leave on the dot of 4. But by 3:30, they're on the mark, get set, go position. Could you imagine someone working out of town but could be seen in town shortly after 4? And when I say shortly after 4, I'm talking about within the first 15 minutes after 4. That's someone who has perfected the art of clock watching. When the new reality steps in a post-COVID-19 context, a lot of the dynamic work types and clock watchers have made it very easy for the decision of the managers and or business owners as to who they are keeping and who they are not. Change is coming, and the response that employers may have to deliver to the question of their very survival would be reflected in their tough decision to weed out slackers and re-educate and retrain those whom they retain. Attitudes have got to change if we ought to be able to sustain ourselves and contribute meaningfully to national independence. Managers and leaders need to assert more authority and take their responsibility seriously and lead. Too few businesses are run by serious taskmasters in Grenada, and hence too many employees are allowed to do what they want, which in the end serves no one's interest. COVID-19 has come to help all of us refocus on what's important. That is, eating well, getting a proper rest, taking a rest from spending money on things that are not important just to impress people we don't like and who don't like us, and saying thanks to the universe for life. If we think for a moment things are going to return to normal as we knew it in 2019, we have another thought coming. Buckle up, folks. The ride will not be the same, for turbulence will be our new normal if we do not adjust our attitude.